Welcome back to Coding Dev. In the previous video, we have implemented the return book functionality. In this video, we'll introduce the user and we will implement the register user functionality. So first I'll declare the constant that will be user registered. Now I'll declare action creator. I'll call it as register user. This will receive a name. User will have two properties. One is the member ID and the name. We will not be storing additional details like address and all. First I need to create an ID, that is a membership ID. The membership ID will start with Dion and I'll have a membership counter. This counter has nothing to do with Redux. It is just for the implementation we are doing this. In production system, so you'll have a backend and the member ID will be created in the backend and it will be provided to you. So we are doing this just for the demonstration purpose. So I'll convert this to string and I will add a padding at the start. This will be a 6-digit one and I'll pad with 0. So what this will output is M, 5 zeros and 1. Let us say our member ID is 21, then there will be 4 zeros. This pad start ensures that there are 6 digits in this membership ID. Then I'll increase the member counter because once we register for the next user, we need to have the next counter. And I will return type as user registered and payload as I'll pass the ID as well as the name. So this is the action creator for the register user. This is our action. As I have told earlier, these two lines have nothing to do with the Redux. It is just our implementation for the demonstration purpose. We can store the state in this book count itself, but book and user are different things. So we need to have its own state and I will call it as initial user state. This will have a list of users. It will be initialized to an empty array. Whenever we register a user, we will append to this array. And this I'll rename to initial book state. And this reducer we will rename to book reducer. Now we have the action as well as the initial user state. Let us go ahead and create the reducer for user. I'll call it as user reducer. As we have seen in the book reducer, it will receive an initial state as well as the action. Here initial state will be initial user state and we will have one case inside the switch, that is user registered. Let us go ahead and write it. This will be action dot type. If the type is user registered, then we need to update the state with the new user. So I'll spread the state as usual and users will be, I will again use the spread operator here to spread the users array and at the end I will append the action.payload. Action.payload is nothing but the new user that is being sent from the action creator here. Now we have two reducers, book reducer and user reducer, but our create store function accepts only one reducer. So how do we handle that? That is where a combine reducer function comes into picture. We have combine reducers exported from Redux. So let us use that. So I'll say reducers because we have multiple now as combine reducers of this accepts an object. So I'll say user is user reducer and book is book reducer. This reducers I can pass it to the create store function. Let us have a reducer at the end after we have declared both the reducers. Now let me dispatch some action, that is register user. I need to pass the name here. Let us say John. Now let us go ahead and run this code and see what happens. We are getting an error here. It says the slice reducer key user returned undefined during initialization. So what have we done during initialization? The user reducer, in default we are not returning anything. We need to return the state. So in default case, let us return the state. Let us run this again. So as you can see, the user's object is created. Now there are two keys in the store, that is user as well as book. These keys match with the keys we have supplied here. And this prints as an object. We need to inspect what is inside that. So what we can do is we can just do json.stringify because this returns an object. If you log the object like this, it will print object. So I'll say null comma 2 and we will run this again. So as you can see, the current state is user has a users array. Inside that we have one user and our member ID is M5 zeros and 1. Also we have the book state. Now let us register one more user. Let us say Jenny and I'll run this again. As you can see, there are two users. and we can see the member ID being incremented. So that's it for this video. We have seen how we can combine two reducers and separate concerns, like a user is a separate concern and a book is a separate concern. So we have two different keys here. Whatever related to user will stay inside user, and whatever is related to book will stay inside book. And the book reducer will not have access to the user object, and vice versa. So this is how Redux expects you to manage the state, different concerns in different reducers. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we will see the library called immer. As you can see, this code is not very clean. It is clumsy. If we have some complex objects here, right, it will become more cumbersome. So in the next video, we will see how we can avoid that using immer. Thank you for watching. Hope you are liking this series. If you are, please consider subscribing to the channel. See you in the next one.